This is the video commentary for Over the Next Horizon, my first feature film, and this is the second year anniversary of Over the Next Horizon being out, so enjoy. For those of you who don't know, Over the Next Horizon was a zero-budget feature film. When I say zero budget, I mean no budget whatsoever. I hardly bought any props for the film. Everything that you see featured in the film was something I already owned or had lying around the place, whether it's those binoculars or the costumes. Everything was scrounged together. This is a completely $0 production. I had no crew, so all the stuff I shot on my own, which as you watch the film you'll understand why every single thing is on tripod. Every single shot is on the sticks. There is zero handheld shots in the film. There's zero gimbal shots. There's one dolly shot in the whole film, which I had my wife help me with, but everything else is shot by me. I was the cinematographer, I was the editor, I did all the sound recording and the sound design. Sound recording is a generous thing to call it, because we just slapped a shotgun mic on top of the camera and that was the sound recording. So, man, there we go. Over the Next Horizon. That was actually an old chicken farm. I thought it was abandoned because it looks like this. But halfway through filming here, as you can see, there'll be some shots where I'm walking past the tractor. It was not abandoned. So someone in a ute approached where I was filming, and they were too shy to say anything or too awkward to say anything, so I quickly packed up and left. Also without an explanation, but there we go. But yeah, so Over the Next Horizon is an apocalypse film, as you can see, and the concept behind the film was I wanted to make something that had a longer narrative story, and I wanted to make something that was within the realm of possibility for me, considering the resources that I had around me, considering the people that I had around me. So,
where'd you go?
I look at this guy in his clean white shirt. I obviously
He's my brother.
hadn't learned how to do costume design yet, so
Do you know what
everyone
it's
looks
like
like they came fresh out of a shower,
Sorry.
fresh from the laundromat, ready to go in the apocalypse.
Let's
You'll if you can hear the audio of the film over my incessant talking, that was all ADR'd, badly so, which is on me. Most of the film has minimal to zero dialogue, and the reason for that is I knew that I wasn't going to be recording, like I didn't have the skills, I didn't have the prowess to record and manage a feature film's worth of dialogue. So most of it's almost a silent film, really, and that was definitely an artistic choice. What a creative shot. That was definitely a creative, artistic choice. Not a writing choice. The film didn't have a script. I had scenes, and I knew that I was really limited in terms of recording dialogue. So yeah, this is the first act of the film, right? So the Over the Next Horizon occurs in 3 acts. There's the first act, which features this village, this little colony of survivors, which I think we did a really great job at selling this village of people and this community. These guys were all great sports. They came and I did a casting call on a Facebook page and got them all here to help out. That's Alex McRae on the left. He's turned up in a couple of things since. So essentially, this is the first hint for the larger story. So this little girl's run over a phone charging cable, sorry. I've gone and put it in there with my phone and a couple of other cables, and this is sort of setting up that my character is collecting charging cables, and he's got this phone. Here we go. I had a maths lesson planned for these kids. Yep, I know the answer to that question.
Oh my god, this is a good one.
This is Michael Coward. He is the lost Hemsworth brother. This is what I see him as anyway. He's a handsome, cool-looking
I know you just got back, but
man.
the scavenger team needs a third.
So the idea is that my character is sort of new to this group. He's sort of been taken in by them, and they're helping him survive. He's sort of trying to prove himself. He's going out on a mission with them, and something goes wrong in this first act. But anyway, there's these flashbacks that sort of hint to this relationship. There's someone in Jack's life, in the character. There was a note left on the fridge for him. He's writing one back. It's this cute relationship, all done in this 4:3 aspect ratio, just to show that it's a different timeline. The reason I chose 4:3 aspect ratio is, thanks Dork, there we go, it's a playful, fun relationship. Endear yourselves to these characters. So the 4:3 aspect ratio for me, I immediately think of Instagram, which makes me think of memories, scrolling through old Instagram photos. And so that was sort of the idea behind it, is that when I thought that when people saw the 4:3 aspect ratio, it'd be clear to them it's a memory, it's a flashback, because that's what I associate them with. So you can let me know whether it was effective or not. That's Murin Kane. She's an amazing actress. She's been in a couple of featured roles in some pretty big films. She was in Elvis. She was in, there's a George Clooney movie, Ticket to Paradise, I think. That might not be the name of it, but she's been in a couple of short films in her own right. There we go. So they found some alcohol. Excellent. What are we going to do with this? Let's take it back. Hurrah! Take it back to the village. But oh no! Disaster! Aaron and Cass are missing! Oh no! Alright. Michael's here to deliver a speech. Rally the troops. So, in terms of the set design, I was pretty happy with this little village. That little area actually has turned into like a pond or a swamp since it rained a lot after that, and it's pretty much stayed a swamp ever since. Here we are. Look at all these. Man, I've got a lot of people to come and help out on this day.
All right, everybody move out.
They were very, very generous, and I hope they had a lot of fun. I think it was a good day of filming. This first act doesn't sort of hold the candle to the rest of the film in terms of the cinematography, in terms of the coverage that I got on the day. The reason for that is I took over a year to shoot the rest of it, and I did the first act in one day. And the reason that I did the first act in one day is because I felt terrible asking these people to volunteer their time and to come and not be paid for it. I made it clear from the beginning, look, it's an unpaid thing. It's a feature film though. It'll be really fun. It's catered. Come and join us and shoot a couple of scenes with me for this feature. Because I couldn't pay them, I didn't want to bring them back for reshoots. I wanted to really just be as efficient as possible with their time. And the idea behind starting the film with this little mini storyline where these kids go missing, Jack sort of plays a role in bringing them back as a way to introduce his character and introduce the idea of this phone charger, to introduce, the world that we're in. This is an apocalypse, everyone's trying to survive, and I thought that it would sell that the world is bigger than it actually is because of the large cast at the beginning, and I'm not sure whether that really worked or not. I also had a hard time directing them. This is my first time directing people I didn't know, directing actors. I don't think I did a very good job. You could ask them, I suppose, but I think I did a pretty abysmal job. Because I was running around and trying to manage the camera and the set. I was literally anything that the production needed was pretty much on me for that day. So that was pretty tough. But a lot of these embers and flicker and the light flickering on them I actually added in post. So I was pretty happy with that. There we go. Oh, so this is just showing that everything's going really well. This is funny. I'm smoking a cigarette. I'm drinking alcohol, and I'm doing a Wii at the same time. So how that, where the third hand came from, I don't know. Now, and that scene by the fireplace was actually shot in my backyard, so you can shoot anything anywhere if you do the lighting correctly. I don't know that I did the lighting correctly, but anyway. The whole film, with the lighting in the film, everything was done with natural lighting. I barely introduced any other lighting in the film, except for this scene has some lighting, but it's just a tube light that I set up at the end of this desk. And there's a couple of nighttime scenes that I use some LED lights for. But the lighting was very, very, very simple. I basically did the whole film with one light, and it was just a $99 light I got from Amazon. So in terms of accessible filmmaking, if you have been watching us and you want to know how to make a film in an easy or accessible way, dude, just if you want to make a movie like this, you don't need any sound gear. Just make a film where the character doesn't talk. You can bend and use natural light, easy peasy. You don't need, you just need an ND filter for the camera, which is like a little filter that you can put on the front of the camera. Digital blood! And, oh no. So yeah, sorry to keep you up with the story. I suppose if you're watching it, you've already seen it and you know the story, but I kind of feel like I should explain it. So he's woken up, he's had some alcohol, and there was sort of supposed to be mirror imagery there, so he was drinking alcohol, and that's a vice for him in the flashbacks. And then his alcohol as a coping mechanism in the apocalypse led him to not be able to help when the village got raided. Oh no. Blood on me! Trauma! Oversaturated blood! No! So, this sees the end of the first act. So the first act, he is a failure. He obviously doesn't have his family with him. He's not been able to save the village. He's not been able to contribute to anything positive happening.
It's kind of hard to explain.
Open mind psychology.
Never really been good at talking about this kind of thing, but I think I used to feel
making this was terrified of acting, and I've gotten a lot more comfortable with it since. Even talking to the camera and doing things like this, I've gotten a lot more comfortable with. But
it just came this pressure.
This was my first time performing in any way for camera, for anything serious anyway. I've obviously acted in short films and stuff, but put a lot of weight on this and felt like it was...
I wasn't happy.
The film was literally resting on my shoulders as a character. That was really hard.
Looking at me, and
there's my son, cute. Oh, look at him.
One day he would need
photogenic
me. One day
kid.
he would want something from me, and
so the idea is that the flashbacks sort of explore
and one day when my family needs me,
sort of
I won't be able to help.
Paternal depression and that sort of thing. It wasn't necessarily something that I could draw from real life experience about, but the journey that the character goes through is that he doesn't know how to be there for his family. He doesn't know if he will help or save them or be able to be any use to them whatsoever. He just feels useless, and it sort of becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy when the apocalypse happens, and he's not been able to be there for him, his son and his wife. It's a bit of a tragedy. Part 2, The Silence, aptly named because there's no dialogue in The Silence. This was actually the first scene we filmed. Well, I say we, but I filmed for Over the Next Horizon. There was this abandoned, overgrown shell of a house, and I drove past it every day on the way to work, and I'd just seen Chlorine, Sheep Theatre, Video Carnage, Not So Amazing, all these feature films done by YouTubers, filmmakers online that I really looked up to, and I was like, hey, I'm going to make one of those. So I just started filming it. When I was doing the scene, I had no idea where the story would go. I knew that I was looking for something. I was like, oh, maybe I'm looking for a charger to charge my phone, as a way to hear my wife's voice one last time. So the finding a phone charger became the MacGuffin for the entire film. That was sort of all established in the scene. The costume that I threw together here became the costume for the entire film as well, or for the entire second act. And what ended up happening is I went and I just shot every weekend, every day after work that I had a couple of extra minutes. If I knew that I would be finishing at 3 o'clock and I wasn't needed home till 5, I'd pack my costume, I'd pack my gel blaster, I'd pack my camera, make sure it was charged, and I'd just shoot a scene. I'd just drive to a location, shoot the next scene. And the whole film, well, the second act at least, so the first act I wrote after I'd finished most of the film to knowing where the film was going. I cut my hair, shot the first act, to sort of tie everything together, to set up all the things that ended up happening, and to introduce us to this world. If I could do it again, I probably would not have done the first act. I would have just done more scenes with this character and had more one-on-one time with him. I think I felt like the film wasn't legitimate enough because it had a really small cast. It was just me. It's a solo film, but I think that's where its strengths were. And I was doubting myself. I think if I had have leaned into the strengths and leaned into what was working, because I knew something was working. I was getting these really cool scenes. I was getting this great drone footage. I felt like this character was pretty interesting. This solo apocalypse guy, but he wasn't a strong man. He wasn't brave. He wasn't super resourceful. He was just an ordinary guy who was learning skills and trying to survive. There we go. So these flashbacks are sort of... I'm really enjoying the cinematography in these flashbacks. I remember shooting this at a park with my family, trying to make it as fun as possible. I'm like, this poor child actor, he needs to enjoy what he's doing. Oh my gosh. Let me mute this. So, here we go. Apologies for the messenger dings. We just finished production on Big Smoke, so I've got a lot of messages coming in about it. It's been a huge 2 weeks, so there'll be more about that coming soon. So, also, the reason why I'm revisiting this is I just finished shooting Big Smoke, which is our now second apocalyptic feature, post-apocalyptic feature. And I was really reminiscing about Over the Next Horizon, so I wanted to come back and watch it again. So, yeah, so this is just setting up that my character is feeling like a huge failure. He doesn't know how to connect with his family. He doesn't have parenting skills. Now, all these shots you'll notice have like a blurry look around the edge. That was all done in post. It's just a radial blur that I created a mask for, so it would just be around the edges, and feathered it right out. And the fun story is, on Big Smoke we were able to get the same look, but in camera, because we had some amazing lenses. This is going to become the Big Smoke production talk, but anyway. We actually used the one of the lenses they used on the new Batman film, the Robert Pattinson Batman film, and it looks amazing. You should check out the stills on Patreon. Have a look at our new movie. It's really cool. So here we go. This is in that same place. The fear on my face is genuine here. The neighbors heard me in this abandoned property, so they got out their torches and they were turned on their porch light and they were out trying to see who I was. So I was genuinely panicked that I would get in trouble, or that the police would get called. And I had this gel blaster gun, and I was like, oh no, what's going to happen if someone rocks up because I'm trespassing and have this weapon. I just look like some psychotic, I don't know, like doomsday, off the grid survivalist. This is another cool location that I found. It's just like an overgrown Telstra tower. Here we go. So I used that torch really carried this scene. So obviously you can see the light bouncing off the trees behind me and the light bouncing off those metal poles. That's all LED lights that I set up around the place, just battery powered to try and fill in the background a little bit more. And then I use the torch as a key light, practical key light. These scenes are all like super underexposed. I would yeah, but enough information's there to see what's happening, and it is what it is. Here we go. So this is now in the flashbacks. We're sort of getting closer to Doomsday, to the apocalypse. Jack's wife Caitlin in the film is trying to secure the property and trying to survive and be a parent all at the same time as the world's falling apart. And oh, there's a little tribute to Sheep Theatre here, a little plush cow. I wanted to throw that in there for Danny to see if they saw it. Here we go. So this is a really pivotal moment for my character. It's when he realizes that his mental health and his inability to be okay, his inability to, or his lack of tools, I should say, in his toolbox to manage his own health are impacting his family now. So he sort of wakes up and hears his wife talking about him and realizes she's disappointed and not happy. And coming up is the only camera movement in the entire film, aside from drone footage, but you can do automated camera movements with drones. This is the only human moving a camera in the entire movie. Is this shot right here. And it's probably one of the best shots in the movie. I was really pleased with it. It's a nice little drone shot. It's not a drone shot, it's a dolly shot, sorry. Getting my D words mixed up. I've not slept for 2 weeks, so this is the ideal time to do a commentary for my film. Alright, here we go. So we're about halfway through the movie now, and things are getting real for Jack.
Just afraid that Liam won't get to meet him, you know?
It's a beautifully lit scene. I love the porch light coming in through the blinds.
He's so tiny.
And in hindsight, I think I felt so self-conscious about my acting in this, but I think in hindsight, my performance is actually okay. I wish I had someone there directing me. I wish I could act in something where I was receiving direction and had support, and the ability to prepare and think about my character. But I literally didn't think about any of the scenes or how I would act in them until the camera was rolling, and I was just sort of making it up and maybe did a couple of takes. Woohoo! Another charging cable. Put her in your bag, buddy. There we are. The Kathmandu bag. So there are a couple of unofficial sponsors for Over the Next Horizon. Kathmandu is one of them. There's several Kathmandu bags and hats featured in the film, which is awesome. Man, that location is so beautiful. That was a bad cut. It's just slightly different angle, but okay. There we go. This is something that is not really important in the film. I think, and this is where the lack of planning and the improv sort of lets the film down, is this whole sequence where I go in and paying mind to the tower. It was actually a lot longer. In the edit, I walk around looking for something, I'm opening boxes, and it didn't lead to anything. There wasn't so we cut it, right? But I think it just was maybe more confusing than anything, like looking up at the tower. I think I had in mind that maybe there was some sort of like technological element to the apocalypse, but I hadn't put any thought into it, and I just decided to get those shots, but ended up being my only coverage for that scene. There we go. This was a fun scene to shoot. We had a lot of fun doing this, and I think it looks pretty as well. This is one of the nicer flashback. Yeah, it's one of the nicer flashback scenes that we got. That's us on our honeymoon, by the way. I've always been unhappy with the music choice here as well. And again, it's just a result of poor planning. But I wanted to show that our relationship was good in the past, and the flashbacks are non-linear as well, so this is before we had kids in the plot of the film. And this is just after seeing how things are. This is showing that things were not always that way. Woo! And I'm still wearing the same Doc Martens in the apocalypse. Pretty much all of my characters in all my films wear Doc Martens, which is cool. Mwah! There we go. So, we're nearing the end of Act 2 in Over the Next Horizon. I was also really happy with this shot. And yeah, throughout the film, I was able to find some outstanding locations around Caboolture just by driving down four-wheel drive tracks in my Kia Carnival family mover, and just finding different random spots to film. I like that shot too. Good job, Alex. So now you can see his beard's growing longer, his hair's getting longer, he's aging. Time is passing, everyone. And here we are, back to the notebook. I'm trying to write a letter to my wife. I don't know what to say. And you can see all the scrunched up papers there. Look, what else is there to talk about? Here we are. I finally wrote her something. But it was too late. Spoiler alert. And that's sort of the symbol of my character's inability to connect, is he's not able to write this letter that he's been wanting to write. He's not been able to put his feelings down and express them. His expressive skills are really poor. This is actually smack bang in the middle of civilization. There's this random patch of grass near the biggest shopping centre in Queensland, and all the audio from this was completely unusable because there's a massive main road next to me. Heaps of wedding photographers come down here to shoot as well. There you go. Here's some of the only VFX in Over the Next Horizon. Some dust kick-ups and muzzle flashes. He's getting pinned down. It's one of the only action scenes in the film too. There you go. Crawl over here. You'll be alright, mate. Have a look. I reckon there's someone in the bushes. They're about to shoot at you. And seriously, like, these VFX are not barely VFX. They're PNG images or just free. I just looked up free VFX assets. I was able to find them in there's some websites that you can go to. There's always new ones popping up that have little assets available for free. Now the fire in this was done by Mark Antonio Rios, the genius behind the new chlorine feature that'll be coming out, Valaro. I think I said that right. He did the VFX for that fire. I did the smoke column. Oh no, he might have done the smoke column. I don't know. But yeah, it's a learning curve for me to, ask for help if I needed it, because I knew I couldn't do the fire. I knew I couldn't make it look convincing enough, and I think it's a lesson there to sort of ask for help if you need it. People can come and help you with stuff, even if it's sound or a couple of VFX things. and the benefits to asking for help as opposed to not and just doing it on your own are huge. So if you're making a project and you need a bit of extra help, you should definitely ask for it. Oh no. Oh, blah. Dead. The editing in this scene, in this sequence, I go between when I get shot and these flashbacks. I think I pulled them off really well. I'm still very, very happy with these, with this sequence. It's when I realized that my wife never saw it, and I woke up and she's gone. No, punch! Oh, sad. And they're my character's two biggest failures. It's a low point in the Apocalypse story, and it's a low point in the flashbacks. It's trying to create some sort of thematic crossover, some thematic connective tissue between the flashbacks and the things. But it was all like I'd already shot everything when I literally made this film by shooting all the scenes. I shot all the flashbacks. And I'm like, how do I put them together? How do I sequence them? So I had these big A3 pieces of paper where I mapped out the timeline, and I had on little sticky notes each scene, and I stepped them all out and sequenced them according to what I thought would look good. I didn't have anyone to do that focus pull, so I composited two shots together and digitally changed the blurriness of the two plates to combine them and pull off that focus pull when I had no one to pull focus. So that's exciting. There's a creative workaround for any shot that you want to do that you don't have that. Like if you don't have a first AC or a camera person to pull focus for you, you can get away with. You can do it in other ways. You can be creative. So there we go. This is part 3 where we introduce Adrian Simeoni. The man, the myth, the legend, the hero. This is Adrian. He's our new protagonist. So Adrian is a lifelong friend I've had since we were in preschool. We became friends, and as you can see, he's got his Kathmandu backpack. So we've been making films together since we were in middle school, like a long time. Part 3, The Closer. And he's such a good actor. He's in Big Smoke as well, and he kills it in Big Smoke. He might be one of my favorite performances in Big Smoke. Everyone's performance in Big Smoke is one of my favorite performances in Big Smoke, but definitely of Adrian's characters, it's my favorite. So here we are. The idea behind Adrian's character here is he's sort of like a true and better version of Jack. His character again delivers 0 lines, but his name is Solomon, and he, if you notice in his scenes, he starts off sort of exploring the forest. He has a campfire at nighttime. He goes through the same beats as the Jack character, but he's way more switched on. He writes down his feelings. He's got a journal. In the morning after the campfire, he's alert. He's awake, and somebody tries to raid his little solo camp, but he's prepared for it. It's his character is like the idea behind it is his character is the better version of my character, and like a reflection of a more capable survivor in the apocalypse. So Here we go. He hears someone coming. Would you believe it? It's my friend Peter from high school as well. There we go. This scene was a lot of fun to shoot. A lot of fun to shoot. That silenced pistol reappears in Big Smoke as well. Just saying. And anyway. So that guy's going stealing his food. And I think this is the first stunt. There we go, thanks Peter. That's the first stunt in Over the Next Horizon. And the only stunt. It's there's not a lot of action in this film, considering it's an apocalypse film, and I wonder if maybe if it had more action it might have done better on YouTube. Ah, that's a beautiful shot. I thought this was a great shot, but it turns out I just didn't have a matte box. And anyway, the drone footage was fun. Drone footage is a great way to add. If you got a friend with a drone, borrow it. Borrow the drone, send it up, and get some drone footage. It is a great way to add production value. Great way to add value to your film. I played around with the drone for 2 or 3 days around the Glasshouse Mountains, got a heap of drone footage, and I decided how I would use it later. I just sort of picked footage that would fit in and was maybe similar to where the characters were at any given point. Some of those choices were obvious, like the power lines at the beginning and the power lines that we could see. Now, this is the beginning of us using abandoned houses in our films. We've sort of overdone the trope a little bit now, but anyway. Trespassing has become a staple of late night 99 filmmaking. All this is done with practical lighting, with natural lighting. There's zero other lights in here. And yeah, it just goes to show anything that you think of that's a barrier to you making a film is not a barrier. You don't have to. Who's that? Is that Jack? Except he's older and more scraggly. And he's got longer hair. That's actually a wig. I think we pulled off the wig really well. I sprayed it with tips for making a wig not look like a wig. I sprayed it with dry shampoo, which is sort of like a powdery aerosol shampoo, and it really sold the wig. I think it just looks like my natural hair. There we go. Take that, buddy. I've got my charger. I snuck it out. You didn't see anything. Here we go, and this is sort of where we hand over to the Jack character again. We bid Adrian farewell. We've actually written a whole feature script for Adrian's character Solomon from the moment he leaves this abandoned building and where he goes afterwards. There's a whole story involving him that we may or may not ever see. Here we go. He comes out. So this is the conclusion of the film. Alex has, or Jack I should say, he's got his phone and he's just managed to find a solar charger. The only one left in the apocalypse. Which means he's going to be able to complete the mission of the film. And look at all those charging cables. Oh my gosh. He's going to be able to charge his phone and finally see what's in it. I actually reshot this scene. I came here and shot the whole finale, but I wasn't happy with how it looked, so I went back and shot it again and used half the footage from the first day and half the footage from the second day. So there's a couple of random cables in there. I don't know what he was going to do with a portable DVD charger, but anyway. And this marks the end of his that's a VFX red light. I did that in post. Fun fact.
Please, you really need to pick up.
Here he goes, listening to his wife's voicemail. I think that was the last thing that we did for the film, is that that ADR recording of my wife on the phone.
People are looting the shop. Everyone's in a frenzy.
The idea is that he missed the call when he was cleaning up his broken fist from having an episode of rage. Oh, fun story here. So, how I got my eyes to water and cry was not from pulling from a deep emotional place, creating this incredible performance. I bought several onions, and I cut them open. I squeezed the onion juice in my eyes to irritate my eyes, to cause them to water. And then I quickly shot, and it wasn't quite in focus. And I went, no! And my eyes had all dried up, so I squeezed more of my eyes. So I was just like abusing my eyes to try and get that performance. But it worked. So there you go. Hacks for creating tears in yourself if you are not a good actor. It's another tool to put in your toolbox. Buy some onions from the local grocery store and squeeze them in your eyes. Look at this list of amazing people who helped me make this film. Amazing. So I was I was and still am super proud of this film. Watching it again, I think what we were able to pull off with minimal zero resources, and what we were able to pull off with in post as well. A lot of this I put together in the edit. Like I wrote this film in the editing room. I shot all the scenes. I gave myself all the puzzle pieces, but I shot it in. I wrote it in post, and I guess it just shows that the normal processes for making films, where you need to write the film, and in pre-production you need to shoot everything in the production phase, referring to all the planning you did in pre-production, and then edit. You're putting it all together. Like, you can. Marana is another example of that. I wrote the film after the whole film had been shot, and I had to piece together all these different storylines. But of course, there's benefits to doing things the traditional way. It's that way for a reason. It works. Like doing Big Smoke, we did that the most by the books method possible. We wrote the whole film. We wrote a shot list for the film. We rocked up on set with a plan, shot everything we needed to, and now I'm gonna edit the film. But the reality is, there's a workaround for everything, and in anything you make, the editing room gives you so much power, and I think that's a big lesson I've taken from Over the Next Horizon. Is the power that you hold as an editor is tremendous. You could, like Jordan Ross talked about it with his up and coming film, Little Black Submarines, LBS. He completely restructured the film. In the edit, he completely rewrote the film. And if you have shot something, or if you've worked on something and you're not happy with it, you can change the story. No one else knows what it was about originally. No one knows. If you cut something out, no one's going to know, oh, that scene's not in there. You'll know, but you can change it. You don't need to marry yourself to your projects. And I think in the low budget space, that's something that I've really owned and embodied, is don't commit yourself to your projects that they have to be a certain way, because you can't afford to. You don't have the, you literally can't afford to. You don't have the money to have that strict of a vision for your films. And taking that into Big Smoke was a really big strength, I think, because we might have been in the middle of shooting scenes, and I realized, hey, we're not going to have time to shoot this scene, or scheduling wise, we're not going to be able to shoot. We don't have the resources to do this sort of coverage over a night time. So we're going to have to rewrite the film and make this a daytime scene or whatever it is. Like, being flexible is going to be a huge strength and something that you should practice, because it allows you to be more creative in the long run. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm explaining myself well, but having the ability to be flexible and agile with your ideas is a huge strength in the low budget and the indie space, because you need to be able to adapt to changing circumstances, especially when money can't fix your problems all the time, and ingenuity and creativity has to be the tool that you use, have to be two of the tools that you use to fix your problems. You can't fix all your problems with sheer force. you can't force things to be better sometimes, and even if you can, the amount of energy and time that you use to make things that way and to make things the exact way you envisioned them is could have been better used to tell other amazing stories, or could have been better used to enhance other aspect of your movie. So there you go, bit of unsolicited advice. I hope you enjoyed the video commentary for Over the Next Horizon. I hope you enjoyed watching the movie again with a little mini me talking alongside it. And yeah, this will be put out on what day is it today? A couple of days from filming this, it's going to get put out, because we will be experiencing the anniversary of Over the Next Horizon, and I didn't shoot a Over the Next Horizon short film this year for that. We got the video commentary instead. So hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. If you want to subscribe to the Patreon as well, please do. There's heaps of goodies there, and you'll get to see some exclusive behind the scenes and some exclusive stills and maybe even scenes from Big Smoke. So definitely go and check it out. Thank you for everything. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. You guys are the best. See you later.